Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Hope from Intuitive Healing with Hope, and today we are going to talk about manifesting. Now, I think that manifesting is something that gets talked about a lot, and a lot of people know how to do it, and a lot of people have no idea how to do it, and a lot of people think it's really complicated or difficult, or it's weird, or it's not real. And I'm here to tell you that it is very real. And it's pretty easy to do. So I'm going to teach you, my goal is to teach you how to manifest very simply, very easily, and hopefully in as few steps as possible. So the very first thing that you need to know is what is manifestation? So the manifestation is basically what we think that we want, what we dream to be ours coming into the physical realm. So how do you manifest? How do you seemingly think it, believe it, and then achieve it, acquire it, harness it for yourself? It's very, very easy. It is easier than you would think. The very first step and the most important step is that you need to be able to feel the feeling of what it would feel like if you already had what it is that you are trying to manifest. So if you are trying to manifest having a lot of money, you need to live in the feeling that you already have a lot of money. And a lot of people get really tied up right here because a lot of people say, well, I don't have a lot of money to live like I have a lot of money. Yeah, you do. Just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean you go out and spend a lot of money. It means that you know that you have it if you need it. So you live your life with the feeling that you have enough. You learn to harness abundance. And this is where I say manifestation is very easy, but it is very easy if you are already in a spiritual place and you understand what affects you and what your triggers are and what your wounds are and what your programming is, and you've already done the work to deprogram yourself. So now we live in a state of abundance. Now we've learned that life is give and take, it is ebb and flow, and that one day we are given something and it's not promised the next day. And so we understand how to live in an abundant feeling, a feeling of constant gratitude. If you are wondering about that, hit me up. I'll send you the gratitude video. It is all about understanding of how to live in a state of gratitude, which then gives us the ability to live in a state of abundance, constant overflowing abundance, because we understand that abundance isn't tied to financial, material things, that abundance is tied to the feeling of having enough love, having enough comfort, having enough security. And security isn't knowing what's going to happen the next day. It's about knowing that if whatever happens the next day, you're still being taken care of by your higher power, by your own intuition, by your own soul, whatever you call. I call it God, whatever you call it. I also believe in intuition and soul, as you know. So once we harness the feeling of what we want, we see it in our minds. Now, if you have water placements, this is very easy. You're probably like, girl, I do that all the time, and that's how I get what I need. Well, yes, because water signs have the ability to daydream. We have the ability to live in other realities, as people would call it, other dimensions, because we literally live in a dream state. So many people will tell water signs or heavy influenced water charts, you live in a totally different reality. You can't live where there's rainbows and butterflies all the time. And to that, I would say, yes, I can, because it's done very well for me. Thank you very much. Regardless of what happens in my life, regardless of how hard my life gets, it's always a silver lining. Life will always get better. I will always breathe tomorrow. And even if that is a painful day to breathe, the next day may be a little bit better, and eventually it will get better. And so water signs have the ability to get out of where their element and what they're in at the moment in reality and live in another reality. And so they are able to manifest very, very easily. So for earth signs, it's going to be a little bit harder. For air signs, you can think about it, you can daydream about it, but the feeling of it can be a lot harder for you because you tend to want to detach from feelings. Understand, Gemini sun? But being able to envision what you really want and see it so clearly that you can literally step inside of that vision and project yourself into the dream and live it will allow you then to feel what it feels like to have what you want. Now, once you've done that, you release it. Once you've done that, you give it back to the universe and you say, okay, I feel it, I'm living it, now give it to me. And this is also where most people get stuck. Most people will, and when you're first manifesting, it's totally normal. Most people will hold on to it. Okay, I have to think about it. I have to feel it. I have to live it. That means I have to obsess over it. I have to be it all the time. And the universe is like, did you need something? Because your energy says you already have it. And like, there's no space for me to give it to you because you're holding so tightly onto the feeling and on the dream. So like, you're cool, right? And you're all like, why isn't the universe giving it to me? I'm thinking it, I'm feeling it, I'm believing it, I'm dreaming it. And the universe is all like, is she gonna let that go so that I could like give her the real thing? Or does she just want to live there? So that's what we have to learn, to let go and not obsess. And once you do that, once you clear the space, once you clear the energy, then the universe is like, oh, she thinks that she's abundant all the time. She's constantly earning money. She's constantly living in the feeling of abundance and financial wealth and love. Shoot, let's just shower her. Sprinkle it, like sprinkle me. Sorry, bury a homegrown. That's what the universe does. It's like, yes, let's do this. Let's give her the abundance because you already think you have it. So then once it comes trickling in, you go, oh, whoa. And I still can't figure this out to this day. I often will say, did I think it, believe it, dream it, achieve it? Or did I already know it was coming? And so I felt that energy and then I positioned myself to receive it. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever know. And I will never tell you here that I know. I will always tell you nobody knows. This is just my feelings. Triple placement Cancer. Excuse the feelings. We do a lot of feelings over here. And that's good because manifestation is all about feelings. So I'll tell you about the very first time that I manifested consciously. Now, I've been manifesting my whole life, unconsciously, not knowing what I was doing, negative and positive experiences. Yes, you can manifest negative things. It is most commonly manifested through negative experiences because we focus on the negative, we live in the negative, and then we're told to release the negative, and then the universe is like, oh, you need more negative? You still living in the vibe of negative? Let me give you that negative. And you're all like, why does everything keep coming at me? And it's so negative. And the universe is like, negative is a perception. Negative is just a perception. It's part of the illusion. Are you negative or are you growing and learning and it hurts? Oh, I'm growing and I'm learning and it hurts. Okay, so you're giving me lessons. The universe is like, yes, I'm giving you lessons. And then you're like, okay, but could they not hurt so bad? And the universe is like, cool. How would you like your lessons? And then you start to tailor your own experience. Okay, that was a tangent. But let me tell you how what I manifested the very first time and how I manifested it. So I'm a giant Adam Lambert fan. I have seen Queen 3 times in person in the front section. Right there, weaseled my little 5 foot tall sassy ass up to the very front row, up to the barrier, up to the guardrail, and petted Adam Lambert's arm like I was in kindergarten petting a zoo animal. I couldn't, that's a whole nother story. How did I get there the first time? I manifested that. I took the tickets, I put them on a table where I could see them every day. I felt the feeling of getting to know and getting close to him. I envisioned his eyes meeting my eyes. I envisioned us touching and becoming best friends. I was delusional, okay? And I had people come to me and say, and I talked about it. I spoke it out loud. I was like, I'm going to this concert and I'm going to meet Adam Lambert and I'm going to touch Adam Lambert and Adam is my BFF. And my best friend was like, totally, you're totally going to do this. Absolutely. I mean, she was 100% behind me the whole time, which is a little crazy to think about now, but ride or die. That's, So about 2 nights before the, let me back up. I manifested this. I kept thinking about it, feeling it. All of a sudden on my Instagram, and this is going to sound really weird, but all of a sudden on my Instagram, a bunch of his close friends started following my Instagram. And I'm like, well, that's weird. And so they started to like my stuff, started following me, started commenting on things. And I could tell by some of the things that were happening that they had been around him the same nights that that they had commented, because there had been pictures that had been shown on like his Instagram of these people at the same around time that they had liked my stuff. And I had been putting out into the universe that I wanted Adam to recognize me. I wanted him to get to know me. I wanted him to see me. This sounds really silly when I say it back, but it was a profound moment in my life. So I'm going to share it. And I always had this vision that like we would meet at like a grocery store and he would like see me as like for what I am, like jeans, t-shirt, maybe sweatpants, t-shirt, just hair up, whatever. So every concert that I went to too, I never overly dressed. Well, the first one I did, but I never really overly dressed. And I never did my makeup crazy. I was always very, I did overly dress. I shouldn't say that, but I never did my makeup crazy. I was never like out there. I wanted him to see me so that when we met at the grocery store, which was my vision, that he would recognize me from the concerts. Excuse me while I die. Okay, so this is the first concert that we're about to go to, and there's 3 of us going, and I'm totally excited. It's a birthday present, and I'm dying. It's like my dream come true. And a couple nights before, I light a candle and I meditate over this candle, and I envision us coming in contact with each other. And I said, all I want is for us to connect one time. That's all I said. And I messed up by saying that. And so I think it's important. I later came to realize after what happened that I should have just said, I am open to whatever happens and whatever connection is meant to be. Because that first concert, we go and I weasel my way up to the front and all the security is like looking at me and I'm all like trying to wave because I don't have VIP, but I'm in the VIP section, but I'm short enough that I can get in front of the taller people and they totally don't mind. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. I stick my hand in there. He doesn't look at me. He looks here. He looks there. I know he's about to walk away, and I reach in and I pet his arm like a zoo animal. And I turn around and I look at my friends and I'm like, oh my God. I have a picture of it. And I'm like, oh my God. His arm felt like butter. That's what I said. His arm felt like butter. Yeah. So a year goes by. We go to the concert in Las Vegas. We fly to meet him in Vegas, and we've got VIP, we've got front row, and I get up close to him and he grabs my hand and he holds my hand and I touch his arm, and there's this moment and totally happened. And I was like, oh my gosh, 2 times in a row. And I remember actually the first time going back to my mom and saying, at the first concert, Mom, I can't believe he didn't actually see me, and that I had to like grab his arm, like touch his arm, and like I wanted to lick him. That's a whole other story. And my mom was like, Hope, think about how many people were in that arena. And I was like 17,000. And she's like, and you were one of the people that actually got that close to him and got to be that close. Like there's footage of it somewhere on YouTube. And I was like, oh, that's right. She's like, you're not even in the 1%. Like you're in like the 0.%. Like be grateful. And I was like, whoa, be grateful. All right. And this was on my journey of being grateful. So the next concert comes and I like learn my lesson. I'm like, I'm not going to put myself in the box of like, you know, and I've had a big year, like a transitional year, dark night of the soul, learned a lot of things, started hearing spirits, whole lot of stuff happened that year. So I'm like, okay, I understand how to manifest. I'm going to do this. So that happens. We get up close. It's Vegas. It's a real intimate concert. There's only like 2,500 people there. I'm in the front row. I can wiggle myself up to the stage. I literally could follow him wherever he went on the stage. This is with Queen. So of course I get to see Brian May and Roger and Taylor and like amazing. So we're doing that. And this concert, you know, he touches me finally. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't have to pet him like a zoo animal. Like, okay, all of my like morbid, like, oh my God, is restored. So we go out, we leave the concert, and we decide we're going to walk around for a couple hours. We stay out later than we probably should have for moms. And we're on our way back to the hotel. We can't figure out where the hotel is. We end up walking a back way, and there's Adam getting into his limousine with his mother and his friend. And I'm like a deer in the headlights. And I literally can't talk. I'm staring at him. I know he doesn't like phones being taken, pictures being taken, videos. So I have my phone down. I'm just staring. I literally can't speak. If you know me, that's not normal. And Ursula, my best friend, is standing next to me, and she's like, right now, she literally yells at me. I'm sure you heard it. She literally yells at me, Hope. after everything that you've manifested, after everything that you've done. Right now is not the time to freeze. And I'm like, and she's like, oh my God. So he gets in his car. Security's like, no, you can't come. So he gets in his car, we walk away, and his mother is standing there. And I look at her and I go, thank you so much for birthing your son. Yeah, so that's how that manifested. But it manifested. I just didn't know what to do in the moment. We've been to another concert since, been super close as well, been in basically the front row, wiggled my way up to the front. So gotten to do that three times, seems blessed. I seem grateful for that manifestation. But I'll tell you, the reason I want to tell you this story is because that was where I learned that I had the power to manifest. Because when it started to happen over and over again, I realized it wasn't coincidence that I was getting these experiences. And then a lot of other stuff was happening in between. So that is my manifestation video. It was longer than I wanted, but I hope that you enjoyed my story, and I hope that you will learn to manifest and try it. Just keep trying it. Write things down on paper. Hold it to your heart so that it gets into your actual physical space and being. I personally like to write with pencil because I feel like it's of the earth, but a lot of people write in blue pen and get a lot of success from that. So write things down, burn them and release them, and just really envision the feeling of what you want and then release it into the universe and trust that the universe will give it to you. All right, bye guys.